A normal day that day, but no other issues going in there. And of course, I got off at work and then went and I did some running like I usually do. And for some reason, when I ran around the park, the whole time I was there, approximately 30 days, the lights were always on. There were always kids playing, but the night of the bombing, there was no lights there. All I remembered was I woke up in the hospital, and then they had were patching me up and taking good care of me. That's all I remembered. I mean, it happened so fast. I'm Daniel Salinas, 49th Wing Occupational Safety Technician. My dad and my brother were Air Force for 20 years, so I guess it was always in my heart to join the military, since I was always an Air Force brat like my wife. So it just was one of those things that said, hey, it's time for you to go, so that was it. That's why I joined the military. I had so many jobs. I started off I was a vehicle operator, and then I cross-trained into the safety career field, which included grounds, weapons, and flight. And then I was a general's aide, special duty, and then I was a flight attendant also. And so that, like I said, most people only have one job, and I had a couple. And I got offered a position down at Barksdale, Louisiana. And my boss, Mr. Roberts, said, Roberts welcomed me there, and then they needed somebody to go on a short tour deployment. And of course, I stepped up, and about 3 months later, I deployed to Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, as a safety, staff sergeant safety. That was kind of my really first really good taste of deployment as far as that goes. And first day that I arrived off the airplane, you got off the airplane, it was about 122 degrees and humidity, and just hit you right in the face. And then just got initiated into the squadron and had a good time there. I used to run every single night in the evenings around the buildings. And in the evenings I could see the park where the kids used to play. And I'd always see the dads and the moms out there with the Saudis. And you'd always see them over there all the time. And all I remembered is I came back in, went upstairs, and then I went up to the balcony, and then was walking into my room on the 3rd floor, and I was writing my kids, and they liked the little yellow tablets. And one of my roommates said, hey, I'll just use this white tablet. And I said, no, my kids like the small yellow one. So I went in, and that's all I remembered. I don't remember anything else. It just happened so fast. The experience I went through there was overwhelming to me, and I thank all the docs and the nurses and the folks that were able to help me out, and a lot of the other folks. And that's really all I remembered. I remember going back on a medevac, and I remember landing at Barksdale, and a fire truck shooting water, and my family was there, and I remember everybody out. I remember General David Young, who was our wing commander, being out there and shaking my hand. Everybody from the folks out at the fireplace and the ambulances and then the nurses and pararescue guys that saved me, I thank them to this day. I still have them close to my heart. I do feel lost for the 19 that we did lose out there. I mean, they were brave Americans, and they had families. And to this day, I still don't see how I was able to survive. I always carry my Purple Heart and my wallet to remember the 19 guys that were killed. I've had 6 surgeries on my leg just to remove and repair it. I've had plastic surgery, and those 19 guys, they're always in my memory. They really are, and I still have times where it does bother me, but I don't take any meds or anything like that. my dad told me that they found him, that, you know, there was like a complete joy, you know, to see that. But then again, I kind of kept quiet to it until I finally had to go into the news media, you know, MSN, and just take a look at what it said. I guess I had a, what's the word I want to say? I had to see it for myself, you know, how it got planned. Because I've been following this since the day of the bombing. And my wife would say, you know, let it go, let it go. And I just couldn't. And with the finding of the mastermind, it kind of released me from that, having to do that. Finally, the night that I heard it, first night where I actually could sleep. There are nights where I wake up in a sweat, and it bothers me, and my wife knows that, and she'll just usually leave me alone. I get to the point to where I don't like to be bothered. I'll just walk away, and then I'll be okay. I used to use the word hate, and since the bombing, I don't use the word hate. I use the word dislike. And you know, I have good days and bad days. I've run into a lot of people and they call me a hero. I'm not a hero. I'm just a survivor.